All right, I thought there was a great question here on this Facebook group. Now, you're going to see these spaces, and we're going to zoom in on these a little bit so you can see them better. But somebody posted, how are you guys lighting these longer spaces? And I actually got this question just recently from somebody else. And it's very difficult. And he's saying that he walks into these spaces and he places light stands, like maybe one right here and one right here. And if that's very confusing to you, that somebody's setting light stands into their own photo, well, I have classes up here about how, you're going to understand all that stuff. About how to sort of composite out. You can light within your frame. But for those of you who understand it, he places light stands in there, and he gets the lighting in this way. So, but what I'm proposing is that's way too much work, okay, for an average real estate photo. And I feel like, I don't think this is a arguable. I feel like I've come up with the best way to do this. Absolutely. I don't even think anybody would argue with me if I just told you. So you can light a space like this from behind the camera. You don't have to leave the camera. In this particular instance, the way I see it, you might use 2 flash frames and you're standing behind the camera. And I go over that technique in One Night Real Estate Photography Volume 2, okay? So imagine this is a $50 course or something, and the next 10 years you're going to be lighting photos like this from behind your camera, and they're going to look A+, okay? Just absolutely as good as you can get as far as I'm concerned in that amount of time. So it's very, very minimal investment. Let's look at another one of his photos. So same type thing, you could do the same thing here, my technique in the class. Maybe this one you might use 3 frames, okay? 3 flash frames, and then you might get an ambient, all right from behind the camera, okay? And you're not walking into the scene and sort of having these bulky light stands hanging around the house during your shoot. And same thing here, maybe 3 flash frames from behind the camera. I don't mean to pick on him because I didn't get permission from him or anything, but he's letting these lights go a little bit. I always feel like that's a really sort of distracting thing when you start getting blooming in these can lights. So that's my critique there. So jump over, if you take a look at this was 1 flash frame, for example, but you're going to understand what I'm talking about once you go through. It's a fairly short class. I think it's about 5 hours total, if I remember right. And you're going to understand what I'm talking about. You're going to understand how to do it. And the one caveat is I do recommend people have a larger light, at least a 400 watt second. I know I put 300 here, but I'd say at least 400 maybe. You can work with 300, but you may just have to play with your ISO a little bit more through the houses. So let's just look at a few more examples. I have my wife cooking in the background, but this is the same type scenario. Where you're going to be able to stay behind the camera. You got to have window pulls here, and you're just going to be able to get a couple of flash frames and an ambient, and you're going to be done, okay? Same exact type of thing, spaces that extend on like this. I'm going to talk about something at the end that's maybe a little bit different, but maybe that was the same, so I'll go ahead and get rid of that. Same type thing here, okay? You're going to be able to get a really nice, very fast shutter speed photo where you're taking care of all these little blooming stuff up here. You're taking care of all that. I'd say this guy should have went a little bit faster on his shutter speed, but he's probably using ambient only. This is just a stock website. And you're going to be able to get in here and use 1 or maybe 2 at the most flash frames standing from behind the camera. And I'm talking, you're going to be able to light back here, okay? It's not like I'm saying standing behind the camera and you're not getting light over here. I'm not talking about that, okay? So let's go back. I'm not talking about you're going to be able to sacrifice this area back here in the further depths of the photo. I'm not talking about that, okay? So you're going to be able to get light on these paintings, on these far areas with my course, actual light, and it's going to be even. The light's going to be even from here to here. It's going to be even lighting, okay? So a lot of times we do bounces right above the camera, and this will be very bright, this will be very dark. So what I'm telling you, the technique we're talking about here, you're going to get even lighting. The lighting's going to be about the same here as it is through here. Okay, just absolutely amazing. I'm telling you, I think, if I made a YouTube video about this technique, it would start becoming very popular. Okay, but we're not going to do it that way. We have you're gonna get me started on on you know, free YouTube videos. So I don't know if I should start on that. But yeah, it's One Light Real Estate. That's my most recent course, One Light Real Estate Photography Volume 2. And yeah, I sort of got my brain going on that. And so if you think about what's going on in our industry right now, and you know, there's educational materials. This is just for those people who hung in till the end. Maybe they're getting a little bit of extra controversy here. But yeah, let's just look at this in terms of like a hairstylist, okay? Let's say you live in a certain city and there's 5 hairstylists there. All right, that's cool. You know, nothing wrong so far. Let's say a new hairstylist comes in and he studies, maybe he goes to take some classes, and he comes out and he's opening up a new business and he says, oh, you know, I'm going to teach people for free. I'm going to cut people's hair for free. You know, hell, why not? I just want to do this. I want to do this. I have a day job. You know, I have my little day job. I work in an office, but I'm going to cut people's hair for free. Well, I mean, I hope the reason I brought this up at the end, I was sort of like teeter-tottering on whether I should or not, but I think most of you agree that that's really not a good thing to be doing to a market or to people's livings. So the hairstylist shouldn't do that. So we have that going on in real estate photography and sort of the teachings in real estate photography on the internet. So people are just putting that stuff up there for free. I really don't believe it's the right way to go about doing this. And I think other industries, if you'll notice, like one of the ones I've been noticing is very, very stark example. It's like a perfect example is diving and free diving. You notice there's a lot of classes and a lot of courses these people need to take to have really safety to be a free diver, to go down on one breath. And the people who have YouTube channels, they don't just put the information that they learn in their classes up on the internet for free. They just don't do that because they know they're going to be ruining a market. And, you know, it's not really fair to the people that are making their living off of that and stuff like this. So, and not only that, when you put something up for free, I think it's really a, what do you call it? I think there's a more of a tendency to not be as sort of delve into it as much and think about it as much. You know, maybe you're thinking about your day job and stuff, so you might be teaching them a little bit wrong too. And so in that case, for the free dive, you know, that has implications where it could be very dangerous, right? So that's my little pitch there. I really don't think it's good to be promoting like free stuff on YouTube. I know it's not going to make any difference, my 80 view YouTube video here, but you know, that's my pitch. All right. So I hope you guys get a lot. I hope you check that out. I hope it's gonna, you know, it's so, this class is so worth it in my opinion. Just one little lesson is worth it. And we go through an example here where I'm sort of also taking you through an example where if you get in a really tough spot, you can go ahead and do what this guy, I think if Bradley was his name, he's doing sort of a technique where he walks into the space. So I go ahead and go through that too. But you're only using one light and no light stands. Okay, so I go through multiple techniques in there. All right, so thanks for tuning in. I'll see you for the next one.